What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I'm your host, as always, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, my guest is the Smoke Show, Scott Green. But before I bring out Mr. Green, I'm going to take a quick second, a quick pause for the cause to thank some of those amazing sponsors and help keep this show going. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to go ahead and check out Sleefs, sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS. If you or someone you know is an athlete, you need to go and check out Sleefs. They've got all your gear and clothing. I'm stumbling my words. Jesus Christ. Sleefs.com have got all your athletic wear and clothing available. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, compression socks, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and those dirty boxes that you know that I'm always rocking and wearing. They stay fresh, they stay dry. They are the most comfortable boxes that you will ever own. And they have some fresh and funky designs going on the front of them. So check out those dirty boxes at sleefs.com. We thank you, Sleefs, for sponsoring this episode of Shoot the Shit Uncensored. Use that promo code over at Sleefs, MWA Pod, to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are joining the Piers Austin channel or the Piers Austin podcast platforms for the first time, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, give us a 5-star review. I appreciate it. It helps us bring more amazing content with more amazing interviews more often for all of you listeners and viewers out there. You can also support this channel by donating bits on Twitch or super stickers on YouTube. We appreciate it. It goes a long way and helps us build this channel even more. But ladies and gentlemen, we've got some people in the comments. We've got Kyle Eade, who is ready for this one. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get on with the show, the Smoke Show, that is. So roll a fatty, sit back, light that bitch up, and let's get lit, baby! Scotty Green in the house. What's going on, brother?
Not much. I was just like mesmerized by that intro. That was so awesome. And there was like heaps of people that I've never even knew that you had on the pod.
Yeah, man. We've had some amazing conversations on this show, man. I'm really excited to have you on the show because, dude, I really dig like your character. And I really enjoy your work, and you just seem like a fun dude to have on. So I definitely wanted to reach out. And I'm glad to have you on, man. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. As I said, like before when we were chatting, I actually do like this podcast a lot. It's like there's not a lot of like Australian pods out there, and that's what I like listening to a lot because I'm quite involved. So yeah, thanks for having me. It's really fun to be here already.
It's a pleasure, man. And I got to say, bro, that mo you were rocking is outstanding.
I had the beard going until like a couple of days ago, and then someone had a mustache party, so I had to like shave it. But this is never coming off my face ever.
It's a stellar mustache, bro. It's good.
It's not where I want it to be, but it's getting there.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Maybe incorporate the mustache into the gimmick.
like the Mustache Mountain. They used to do the
the
too, yeah.
But dude, like getting into it, man. Like I've seen you on some Newey Pro shows that I've watched. I watched the last City Hall show, and dude, that to me, I was like, like Newey Pro has such an amazing bunch of talent that like is in like Newcastle, Australia has like a few feds down there, and it's amazing how many feds they've got because like Newcastle isn't like the biggest of places, but producing some absolute amazing performers.
Ridiculous talent at the moment, like Ben Braxton, Rita Stone, the Sheriff, Shay Cassidy, like just to name a couple. And the Sheriff, Rita, and myself and Shay Cassidy are all from the same tryout crop. Like we all came up together like that. Yeah, I don't know. They breed them different in Newcastle. Like we breed very, very good talent, and it's ongoing. Like there's still guys coming up now that like make me push harder because it's like, oh shit, they're coming for the spot that I've been working hard for now. Like there's another crop coming up behind me. But yeah, Newcastle just breeds very good talent, and like the talent pool is getting ridiculous that it's hard to get onto shows and to make a name for yourself. So much Khalid, let's go.
It is, man. And when you went through your tryout, like how long ago was it? When did you actually go and what made you decide to try out?
February 2019. And I kind of, because I didn't know there was wrestling in Australia until I was about 16 years old. And then I watched Robbie Eagles, Will Ospreay. that in the first one that they did at the RSL or whatever it was. And I was like, oh shit, there's wrestling in Australia. Because at this point, I'm just like Bullet Club, New Japan, Omega Okada, like hitting that grind of being a massive wrestling fan. And then I found out there's wrestling in Australia, and this is around the time I'm going into later high school where I'm starting to plan where I'm going to go for study. So the uni that I wanted to go to was here. And thankfully, House of Free Fighting is also in Newcastle. So to my parents' eye, the only thing I was doing was coming here to study at the University of Newcastle. But in my mind, it was more so that I wanted to go to the House of Free Fighting because at that point, I knew Robbie. I think Robbie might have been middleweight champion here. I was also a fan of Carter Deems before I even came here. They're kind of the two first professional wrestlers that I knew of before ever even kind of getting into the scene. So yeah, and Mark Davis. Yeah, I also knew of him. But other than that, I was so fresh and had no idea what was going on here. And then like you get into it and you're like, it is so big and getting bigger, and it's just awesome.
It's interesting because like a lot of people have had on Gavin McGavin. He said the same thing. Like when he first discovered Australian wrestling, he had like no idea it was at the level that it was at when he first walked in. He was just like, what the fuck? And like quite a few people have said that as well. So it's amazing like how many wrestlers have sort of found Australian wrestling and just gone, holy shit, like this is you know what I mean? Like you don't
the best
have to go overseas to make a name for yourself. You can get established here. And,
no, Grayson Waller got signed from our backyard. Like Grayson and Steph, they both got signed from Australia. It's possible. We can do it like right here. And like even getting signed don't matter. Like it's starting to get to the point where you can just like be a very good professional wrestler in Australia and do your tours every here and there. Like it's so exciting to see that wrestling is. I think I've come in at a good period of time where wrestling's on the up, and I'm glad to be a part of it right now.
I've even noticed like shows are probably are selling out quicker. You're seeing more people sort of trying to get in front of them. And I think, and I've said this before, and even during lockdown, I said like as soon as people can get out, like all the wrestling fans have been like, yeah, I should go to a show. I should go to one. I'm going to be like, no, I'm going to go to a show because I don't know when we're going to be locked. You know what I mean? Like that mentality.
Yeah.
I have to do it. And you definitely see like there's been more influx of new people. Like I'm at a lot of shows and I'm seeing like different types of people coming in and through. That it's like you can see the scene growing.
Yep. That City Hall that we recently just did, the Steel City Showdown in Newcastle. I did a VIP before the show, and I'm laughing and carrying on. And is this? So have you been to a show before? Nah, first one. And then I asked another one. Have you been to a show before? Nah, first one. Everyone, and they're in the VIP area, and everybody's like first show, other than a couple regulars, of course. But it was a lot of people's first show, and I'm like, you are gonna love this. Like, people don't. I have this thing with like all my friends and stuff. People don't understand wrestling. They don't get it until you come and see it live, and then they leave the show. It's like, I get it now. People kind of have this stigma around wrestling, and then when you come and see it live, it's like it is totally not what I thought it was, and that was really amazing. And I will come back. You just got to get them in the door, and then you've got them because the wrestling is that good here.
I agree, man, and it's interesting. Like I love taking like people that aren't necessarily like massive wrestling fans, and not people that go, "Oh, it's bullshit," but like people that just go, "It's just I don't watch it." And I've taken a few people like that, friends of mine, and after the shows, they're like losing their shit. They're going, "This is like the greatest thing I've ever fucking seen. Like this is insane, right?" Like. And that's the shit that I love. I'm going, man, you want to come to another show? And then, like, those friends go and tell our other friends, oh, man, you got to go with Piers to a show. These things are fucking insane.
Yeah, and I'll show them, like, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 26, right? I'll show them that. Cheers, Kyle. You're the man. I'll show them, like, some of the greatest professional wrestling matches ever on the TV. And they're like, phones are out, whatever. They come to a show, their phones are over there, they don't care. It's like they're here, and like have friends after the show ask me when the tryouts are, and they have their own characters made up in their heads by the end of the show. Like wrestling, when you see it in person, it's just a different animal, different beast.
But like wrestling is one of those forms of entertainment that is like no other. Because like, you know what I mean? Like you look at like a stage play or a musical or a movie and stuff like that. People can differentiate from like the performer and the character, but a lot of wrestling fans are just like, they see the performer and think that that's what they, you know what I mean? Like there's some fans that are smartened up to it, but you know what I mean? But that sort of thing, like there's that kind of like wrestling is in this weird bubble, and I say weird in a good way because we all love wrestling.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it is in. Do you think that?
Yeah, it's like wrestling is unlike anything. Like it's sport and it's physical, but it's also drama and it's also theater. Like and that's why I love it, because like it's so unique and different and unlike any other performing arts / sport. Like you think back in high school, right? The kids that were getting on stage and doing performing arts weren't then going out and playing rugby. Like it's kind of like the opposite ends of the spectrum.
And the rugby players weren't going to try.
No, absolutely. Unless it's High School Musical, like Troy Bolton. No, like it's just total opposite ends of the spectrum. How does one person with polar different interest like get into professional wrestling? Like it's so. Yeah, it's unlike anything. You nailed it with that.
But I find like musicians and wrestlers from my experiences very, very similar. Like a lot of like some of them, like some wrestlers can be really introverted people. When they go out and perform, they're completely someone else, but like they're really quiet, and that's how like musicians are. Like I've spoken to a lot of musicians who are like real outrageous sort of people and stuff like that. But when you're talking to them one-on-one, they're like, very chill and just super chill. You know what I mean? Like just chill, relax sort of people, not trying to impress or anything like that. Just, you know what I mean? Like they're not.
Do you know who's exactly like that? Matt Gage.
Yeah.
Do you know Matt Gage? Yeah, he's very chill, and then the lights are on and he's doing his like weird dance to the ring, and he just turns into the most entertaining character ever, and it's really fun to watch. But yeah, absolutely, like I'm obviously not very introverted. I'm pretty. Scott Green is me. Like, I'm pretty out there, and like I don't often hide in the back. Like I enjoy conversation and enjoy getting out there. So I'm not like that. But Matt Gage, definitely very shy, and then comes up when the lights are brightest.
Oh, absolutely. Great performer as well. I really enjoy his work.
I wish I had half of his charisma. Like, it's ridiculous. He's so charismatic. It's unbelievable.
But like, how did you come up like the Scott Green like professional wrestler? Is that is that kind of like who you are? Is it like how much of it is the real you?
So I quit professional wrestling about 2 weeks out from lockdown. So like I quit wrestling because I was done with it, had enough. And then lockdown, the very first one happened. So then no one really knew that I quit, except for one person, Rita Stone. She knew, or two people, Rita and Jake Walker. And then COVID happened. So I was living on college at the time, and we will say that I was living and being around a lot of Scott Greens. The world was at a standstill. What else was there to do?
Yeah.
And have you ever heard of this show called The Big Les Show? Have you ever heard of that?
The Big what, sorry?
The Big Les Show.
Yes, the Aussie guy who's like the cartoon. Yeah, dude. I've seen bits and pieces. That shit, I fucking pop for it.
It is exactly my style of comedy. I reckon for my money, it's the funniest television show ever. Like it's Australian humor nailed down to a T. And there's a character called Sassy the Sasquatch who's like a massive druggo and like stoner and spaced out. So I just kind of picked and choose all these different elements without even knowing it and started building this character. And the way that Scott Green talks is heavily based off a very good mate of mine who, when he dabbles in the Buddhist broccoli, that's how he talks. His voice patterns change, and I just copied it into a promo because it's the most stoner thing ever. But yeah, it was just kind of just picking all and also I really enjoy the marijuana culture and the community around it. Me too. I studied psychology. I just finished my degree in it, and I'm obsessed with thank you. And I'm obsessed with like studies that look into like the medicinal uses for marijuana, medicinal uses for marijuana and how it's helping like people with PTSD and severe anxiety, and it's helping war veterans and stuff. Like, marijuana got such a bad rap for about 40 years there, but it's starting to come good. And it's really good that it's come good. But as for the character, the biggest thing was, who hates a stoner? You meet a stoner and they're just the nicest person ever. Yeah, that's a baby face right there. Like, I'm not going to come.
They're not going to steal it from you. They may eat everything in your fridge.
That's it. But they're going to be like, sorry, man. And you're like, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Oh, dude, like it's interesting because like I was talking to RVD, and he was telling me that they recently discovered another form. Like there's THC, CBD, and I can't remember the abbreviated initials of it. But basically, what this part of the plant does is it helps people with brain trauma. So like people that have been like in car accidents or professional wrestling concussions and stuff like that, and those type of brain injuries, and it's actually proven to help the healing process of that. So it's crazy, man.
And the wildest thing is like they knew this when they were testing, because there was a massive error in psychology that just got wiped from memory. It was like in the late 60s, late 50s and 60s. Oh no, even earlier than that. When LSD was discovered, and there was this massive research into psychedelics and marijuana use, and then the Nixon administration came through and said, no, war on drugs are bad, because he associated drug use with the anti-war protests against the Vietnam War, the hippies and whatnot. So he declared the war on drugs, and all that research got wiped. But all the research that was coming through was saying that these, not even just marijuana, just like all these LSD, psilocybin, MDMA, all these drugs are very beneficial to people with serious mental illness. And now, you know, like, what is it, 50 years later, we're starting to research and gain knowledge again on the benefits of these substances. And I truly believe that the next era, because you had the behaviorism era, the, you know, all these errors in psychology, psychotherapy. I think the next era in psychology is going to be psychedelics, marijuana, and all these drugs, because there's just been some insane research done in the last couple of years. A guy by the name Rick Doblin, he has a company called MAPS in America, and insane work being happening over there with PTSD veterans and ketamine and depression, and it's the next era in psychology, I believe.
Dude, I saw a documentary a while ago, and it was basically like a whole series was about like the war on marijuana and the benefits and all the people that sort of, you know, either make a living from it or like how it's changed and helped their lives. And they had like this interview on the first episode with this family, and they had two young girls, like one was like 6 and one was 4. And they were both diagnosed with cancer. They said, your kids will not see 10. Right? Like, dude, like as a parent, you're like, I'm a parent, dude, that would fucking destroy me. But what they did was they said, there is nothing you can do. So they were against the wall. Okay, let's try medical marijuana. Got the girls on the oil or the drops, and the cancer cells started to leave, like drop. And they, you know what I mean? Like, and there was like another girl, same thing, dude. And like the parents were like doing it. And even like they were saying, it's like these kids are like, you see them, they're high as fuck. But like, dude,
but like
they are like, you see them, like they look, I don't know if they just got bad camera angles, but these kids look high as fuck. But
just faded out.
But they were playing like normal kids, bro. Like it wasn't anything. You know what I mean? They weren't just sitting there like eating shit and.
Oh, they were probably having the time of their life.
100%. But it just goes to show like what the benefits are out there.
Yes, tons of benefits. There's a company called MAPS run by Rick Doblin. I think it's based in Colorado. If you don't believe a word we're saying right now, go and check out some of their clinical FDA-approved studies. Insane stuff going on over there. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't believe us.
Yeah, definitely go check it out. Give me the link. We'll put it in the description after the show. But what was the, like, obviously, did you have any, like, wanting to do this character? Was there any sort of hesitation on your behalf, or like even on a promoter's behalf? Because like a lot of shows now, like at certain places are like kid-friendly shows. Like, how does the character be able, like, how are you able to differentiate the character from a family-friendly show to an over-18 show?
So the character is good. Putting it into wrestling has been difficult. But the thing was, I did quit wrestling when I came up with this character. And when I decided to come back, I said, I'm doing this character because I really want to. It's the only reason I'm back. Funnily enough, if COVID never happened, I probably wouldn't be in professional wrestling. I wouldn't have come up with the character. And the character is what made me want to come back really bad, because I had a really good idea for this character. I thought it would really work. So I said, I'm doing this character or bust. I'm not coming back if I can't do this character. So UE Pro management said, great, but you have to tone it down for under 18s. So Who shows, the infamous Who shows, I'm good. I can do whatever I want pretty much. But when it comes to like city hall shows, I tone it down to the point where it's the parents will know, the kids don't. Which is always how it'll be, because I have kids. Like I like to go out in a mission or at the end of the show and say hello to everyone and take some photos and stuff. I enjoy being out there and doing that. And I have kids calling me the chip man because I come out with the chips. Yeah. So kids aren't gonna know, man. Like the parents know, and the kids don't. It's that innuendo in a Disney movie, you know.
100%.
It's enjoyable for everyone.
I was just about to say that, but I saw one interesting spot that you did where it was like you were hitting the ropes, but you had your hand in a bag of chips.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
was that like inspired by Orange Cassidy?
So no, not really. Until
Really?
someone said that's Orange Cassidy, I was like, yeah, it is. And that's the truth. No one's going to believe that. Everyone's going to be like, oh, he copied it from Orange Cassidy. But the truth of the matter is I actually don't watch that much wrestling anymore, which is sad. I go through stages where sometimes I'll watch heaps and sometimes I won't. So the stuff that I come up with is just kind of me coming up with stuff. But it is exactly like Orange Cassidy. I see that. And look at me, I'm wearing a denim jacket and no. He's a terrific worker though. God damn, he's good.
Dude, I think he is as well. Like, I've seen like him get a lot of hate from people online. But you know what? Like, if everyone was the same professional wrestler, the big like, I'm gonna kick your ass. Like, how many times are you gonna want to see that? You know what I mean? Like, I like seeing something different. And you know what? That is pretty fucking different to what we've done. Like from what we've seen. But like even you, bro, with the chip packet, like I saw it online and I went, that is maybe
I've never seen it before
from Orange Cassidy, but I didn't think it was a ripoff because I thought you did it differently and you put a twist to it. And I think
it's different enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing, when you can take something someone's done and twist it and make it your own. I think that's what you did there.
Yeah, definitely. And thank God I did do that, because I think that's why people like me. I think the chips is a big reason of why people actually go, yay, let's go, Scott Green.
Oh, dude, 100%. But like, have you ever had like a fan come up to you after the show and be like, hey man, let's go blaze one out the back?
Every motherfucking show, bro. Every show. And I'm like, I'm gonna do ring crew, man. Like, yes, often, very often. I got people asking me for the marijuana, and I'm like, bro, no.
I can just imagine when marijuana becomes legal, like your character can come out with like a big Santa sack and just like throw buds into the audience.
Yes. Sponsors be damned. That's what I'll be doing. I'll have a massive Smith's chips packet, but then I'll just be throwing buds everywhere, just like that.
Just not at the under 18 shows. Little Tim, he doesn't need to get faded.
Yes, correct. Good point.
But like, for you, like, doing this character, like, do you feel that you can like mix it up and be serious when it's time to be serious? Like, or are you in this character for the, like, not the comedy purposes? Because I've seen what you can do in the ring and you're great. You're absolutely great. But like, as far as like the character things, do you think like you can't, like, when it's time to get serious, you can sort of make that switch with the character and it could be something different? Because you think stoners and stuff are people that are pretty chill and stuff, not really that are going to get like, fuck you, like that sort of level. But do you think it can be twisted in a way like that?
Yes, and I think that's where I'm going now, because I was Scott, the Sesh Gremlin, Scott Green, and that was kind of like my starting point. And then I got into the stuff with Parker Thomas, and he has recently fucked me over. Fuck that guy. He gave me a big old low blow at City Hall, which I eliminated him straight after. Come at me, bitch. But I think that was the turning point for my character, where it's like, I can't trust these guys, So I'm kind of moving from the Sesh Gremlin now to the Smoke Show. And I think when the Smoke Show comes through, up the storm, let's go, baby.
Thanks for the score updates. Joel Southgate in the house.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Something.
The character and switching it up and getting like,
yes,
pushing the Smoke Show. Level.
The Smoke Show will be more of a serious character. Moving forward, it will be more serious, and I'm working it out as I go. I will still be Scott Green and will be still. I will still joke because my personality, you know, Scott Green to me turned to 11, and I will still joke around and I will still do the chips and that. But when it's time to turn it on, I'll fucking turn it on.
What's been your favorite moment where, like, so far in your career? Because, like, you've been wrestling for a couple years. Like, what's been, like, the standout moment for you where you've just gone, fuck yeah, like, that's pretty cool?
Oh, I love. There's so many. Wrestling is full of so many full circles. The full circles in wrestling are the ones that get you. Yeah. But like City Hall, being in the final two of City Hall was like huge for me. It was almost my coming out party type of thing. And like the thing with that was too, where it's like I am decently new, and to be put in the final two of the Rumble is kind of like a kind of very nice that Newey Pro management and some certain people, Carter Deems, Headhunter Rig, Adam Hoffman, all that. Some people, they think of me that I can be put in these positions and do very well, which is really nice feeling. But also like things that happen outside of the ring, but still like within the world of wrestling. Like I will expose myself here. I haven't told people this, but I'm gonna do it. So in like 2015, I sent an Instagram message to Carter Deems. I was like 14 years old or something. And I was living out west, and I didn't even know wrestling at this point, right? And I said, how do I become a professional wrestler? And he sent back these paragraphs of like, stay in shape, you know, coordination, passion was his big one. Stay passionate about wrestling. And thanks, man. You know, he really gave me the time of day. And I was like 14 years old. He didn't have to do that. And then 5 or 6 years later, we're standing across from the ring each other in the hoose, having a match. Those things are special to me. I got to wrestle in my hometown in the same building that I graduated high school in, which was pretty cool. Very, very cool. Against the Chief Rig for IWA. That was very, very special to me, especially because when I was graduating, all I was thinking about was getting to Newcastle and starting professional wrestling. And then to come back years later and be able to main event a show in front of, you know, a large portion of my family and friends in the same building I graduated high school in. I love this shit. This is why we do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I could go on and on. Wrestling, for all the shit that you have to go through, the late night ring crews, the shitty trainings, the bumps, the torn knees and ligaments, those moments that come every now and then are so special that it just makes it worth it. Like, so good.
Yeah, it is. And I think like to have that moment of in the building that you graduated from, and you know, in front of your family and friends, I think that's probably the most that's probably the coming full circle thing, right? Like becoming a professional wrestler, going to uni, you know, away from home, then coming back and just being, look what I've achieved, look what I've done.
Yeah. Coolest thing was there was a bunch of people that because I kept the wrestling thing under wraps because it's, you know, when you're younger it's cringe to be into wrestling or whatever. But it kind of got out that I wanted to do it outside of high school, and there was a lot of people that made fun of me for it. And some of those people were in that audience that night. So suck on it.
That's the thing, dude. I think, like, you know, for some people, like, I think especially kids, when they make fun over something like that, it's like, you know, either A, they don't get it, or it just comes down to they don't have the confidence to go out there and do something like that themselves. So they just got to, you know, tear other people down.
Yeah. You know, that's, as I'm getting older, that's what I'm realizing. It's like people that tear others down just aren't comfortable with who they are. And also, like, people who tear others down, dude, this fucking boring people. Like, say what you want about professional wrestling. It's the most interesting and cool thing that I do. And it's like a regular conversation starter for like old drinking buddies that I haven't seen in a few months type of thing. how's the wrestling doing? Like straight away, you know. I bet you those people that tear people down don't have any of that.
But you know, that's the thing I found. Like, you know, now, like when I talk to people and they go, "Oh, so what do you do?" and I go, I'm a podcaster. I do this," and they go, "Oh, really? What's your podcast about?" And I go, "Professional." Like I would say with pride, I'm like professional wrestling, and no one has gone, "Oh." Everyone's like, "Oh, really?" Like, oh, like that's awesome. You know what I mean? And then everyone's got questions about wrestling or about like people I've spoken to and want to go, "Oh, what?" You know, and I'll go into it. It's always that conversation starter, I think.
Everyone knows RVD too. Everyone knows RVD. You can name drop RVD.
Yeah. I don't go name dropping, but it's like
I would. Yeah. I definitely would.
I think that there's like, you know, now pro wrestling is one of those things where it's just like people are just like, yeah, man, I'm open to it. And you see it shows like people turning up, like the hipster type of crowd, you know, going to shows, you know what I mean, now, because like wrestling's kind of the cool thing.
Yeah, it's coming up, isn't it? How cool is that?
Yeah, but you know what? Like I always find like wrestling goes through like these waves, and it's almost like every 10 or 15 years you see like a change or a shift in professional wrestling. And it's like, you know, like you see times where it's like wrestling has a peak, like the mid to late 90s with the Attitude Era. Then like coming up 05, 06, it sort of starts to sort of dwindle down. And then like 2015, I think, or probably before then, probably 2012, 13, it sort of starts its rise. You know what I mean? Like, I think it definitely has peaks and troughs. But like, I think now for the first time that I can remember, wrestling is just one of the, it's cool. Like everyone's into it. Even like people who aren't like your regular fans, if you go, "Hey, do you want to go to a wrestling show?" Fuck yeah. Like now. Like,
yeah. Sorry. Like, yeah. So I actually started watching in 2007. That was my first match I ever watched. I was 6 years old.
In the match? Do you remember who was in the match?
Shawn Michaels, John Cena. It was the 1 hour main event they did. I think it might have been in England.
The fact that you said John Cena was the first match you ever saw just made me feel incredibly old. You motherfucker.
John Cena was my man. He was the reason I got into professional wrestling. He's the GOAT. He really is. And then, stopped watching probably like 2009 to 13. And then the English indies blew up, and that's what got me back. Remember when the English indies blew up and it was fucking crazy over there? Progress was going crazy. Like, Pete Dunne was just starting to like come up big. Mustache Mountain were doing stuff. It was like WCPW, like that, like promotion started by What Culture Wrestling. Ring of Honor was like on fire. I think Jay Lethal would have been champ. Yeah, that's when I got back in, and then that's when I discovered Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. And it was game over from there.
But like I think indie wrestling like had a peak, you know what I mean? Where it was like there was so much talent in indie wrestling that, and then like I think WWE comes along, takes a majority of it, AEW comes along, snatches along, and they basically just rape and pillage the indies from the world. And then it's like starting back up again, and you're seeing like there's so much more talent out there. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It might have been Charlie Evans telling me that NXT UK killed the English scene just because they got all the talent. Like they just.
I remember the title. I remember the title match that they had Tyler Bate and Dunn, where I think it was like, I can't remember what show it was, but it was like the match where Dunn went over and for the title.
Oh, for the Takeover Chicago.
That's it. That match
is good.
That match is like, I had not seen a match that good in a long time. And those guys, to me, they just raised the bar for everyone else on that card after that match.
And then it was kind of like after that match, NXT went into this era of like, this is the best wrestling we've ever seen in the history of wrestling ever. Like that like Johnny Gargano champ. I'm no mark. I don't watch wrestling, but like Johnny Gargano, like Velveteen Dream, Cassius Ohno, Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Walter, like just the Undisputed Era, like the coolest. And like if I feel like watching some wrestling, that's what I'll go watch. Just like Andrade versus Johnny Gargano, just go fucking 40 minutes, and it's just the best.
Well, dude, I had to do a review podcast on a show, and I was like, I'm going to watch NXT. Because, like, to me, I can't sit down. Like, I've got 3 kids, man. I can't sit down and watch Raw for 3 hours. I can't. I just don't have that time. But for 90 minutes, I can easily sit and watch a show, and I'm going to watch something that I'll enjoy the most part of. You know what I mean? Like, there's always things that you don't like, and there's going to be things that you like. But wrestling's subjective. Like, what I don't like, they're not marketing to a 40-year-old dude. They're marketing to someone different. So there's going to be things that other people are going to like and not like, and that's just part of wrestling. But yeah, I chose NXT straight away. I was like, I'll do NXT. Sign me up. That was like, and you know what? I did it for quite a while, and man, absolutely, I still watch NXT every week.
Yeah, I don't anymore. I wish I did.
That's the only wrestling I watch consistently, like, is NXT.
Yeah, I'll watch an AEW show when I like the card, more so their pay-per-views. But I heard WWE's on the up. Vince is out, Trips is in. Some good stuff happening over there, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
no, still no.
Not that it's no. I think that now they've gone to a TV 14 rating. There's going to be a next level of what they're doing, and you see slight changes on it. But when you look at what they're going to be capable of doing, you're not going to see a reincarnation of the Attitude Era. Like, sorry, all the creepy old dudes out there that want to see bra and panty matches, but like in 2022, that's not going to fly. No, I think what you're going to see WWE is more of like the indie scene. Like, they're going to incorporate more of that, where it's like that sort of style, because I think that's what Triple H likes. And I think they'll be swearing and maybe more violent style of matches, but I don't think there's going to be anything like, I don't think there's going to be sexual content happening.
No, and so there shouldn't be. Like, holy God, that bra and panties era of wrestling can just die. Like,
it's painful to watch, bro, because it's like, I remember as a teenager watching that and saying to my friends, like, so the whole premise of the match is to strip someone against their will in public. I'm like, yeah, but like we're going to see boobs, and I'm like,
yeah, but the puppies isn't that what Jerry Lawler said? Bring out the puppy. Oh, it's bad. That's bad. Especially because some of those girls probably could have worked, like actually worked. I have no idea if they could have, but I'm sure. Like, I don't know when. Like, were they getting trained, or were they just models that just they brought in to do that sort of shit?
Majority of that was like models and stuff, and I think Trish Stratus did stuff like that, but she went on to have a pretty deep, like a great career. You know, but you didn't see performers like Molly Holly or like Jazz or stuff like that, because those were women that could go in there and work probably better than half the guys on the roster or something.
Yeah, I'm so glad women's wrestling is kind of getting to where it is now, where it's not even women's wrestling. We should get rid of women's wrestling. It's just fucking wrestling, and that, like, I hate.
That's what Hoffman said as well.
Yeah, we all have this opinion, and like, instead of this women's match, no, it's just a singles match. It's all it is. Like, and it is getting phased out. So I don't have to be pissed off about it for much longer. But and there's so many women that I want. There's so many women I want to wrestle in this country that, like, just.
but I love it when people go like, it's like, but it's not believable. It's not, bro. Like, Rey Mysterio beating the Big Show, fucking Great Khali and Kane in a 4-way match. That's fucking believable.
No, it's not. That's not how it, like, Lena Cross has kicked my ass. She can. Rita Stone is the fucking hardest hitter in Australia. The only comparison is probably Kai Drake.
Jesus.
Rita Stone hits as hard as Kai Drake. As a fucking shoot. And like Tyson Reed as well. Quite hit. He hits pretty heavy too. Like Rita Stone has rung my bell more times than I fucking know, that I can remember.
Dude, she's a beast. I enjoy watching her work as well, man. Like she's great. But I think that now we're definitely going to see the difference. I think WWE's even incorporating more of like, crossing, having the women and men getting more physical with each other as far as like in a match, but not, you know what I mean? Like you're starting to see little bits and pieces of that. And I think that's the way that they're going to go down.
I was a fan of the mixed match challenge when they did that, Jimmy. I thought that was cool. It was different. And you can probably kind of slowly integrate into gender rest. You could never just do man versus woman on the WWE. Probably just couldn't do that. And I understand why they couldn't do that. Because when you look at the UFC, they're not doing a man versus a woman in a cage, and you kind of want to, I don't know, on a big stage like that. But absolutely on the indies, you can just do fucking whatever you want, which is why the indies are the best.
But that's the thing. You see some amazing matches. It's like if you can sit there and just enjoy wrestling and watch a good wrestling match, it doesn't matter the gender of each participant. It just matters if the wrestling's good. Good wrestling's good wrestling. Shit wrestling, shit wrestling. There's a clear line there. But even for me before, I was never really a fan of it. Then started going to shows here in Australia, started seeing it and going, holy shit, this is really good wrestling. Don't have a problem with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I understand the people that may have a problem, but it's not my opinion. You know what I mean? So everyone can have their opinion about it. I can understand and respect other people's, but to me, I can enjoy wrestling. It doesn't matter who's in there.
Well, when I first saw it, I thought it was stupid too. Well, I think the first thing I would have seen was probably PWG, Candice LeRae when she was doing a bunch there. And I was like, oh, no, women and men wrestling, no. But I was 16. And I've very much grown out of that. I'm not like that. I don't have these opinions anymore. And I think that's the point. People like to die on heels. So when they first say that, I don't like intergender wrestling, they just close off any, idea of maybe changing their mind. So they like to die on this hill. Just don't do that. Just be watch intergender wrestling and be that was a really good professional wrestling match. Let's do it.
I never thought it was stupid. I just thought it was I'm a lot older than you and a lot of this generation of wrestlers, right? So for me, I was always brought up, you don't raise your hand to a girl. You don't get a girl. So that was always something instilled in me. Even to a point, I remember I did boxing and MMA and stuff like that. And we had females coming in and part of our team. And the first time I had to spar a woman, I'm just standing there. I'm just letting her hit me, and I'm not throwing anything until this woman said to me, she goes, "I'm a professional fucking fighter. I've had more fights than you've ever been in your life. Start fucking sparring. You're not a punching bag." And even the coach came over and said the same thing. She's here for the same reason you are. Spar.
Yep.
Don't take hits. And I was it took a while because it's to get that thing that's been instilled from you at a young age out of your brain, it is hard. But like I said, wrestling to me, I can do it.
It was actually pretty quick for me because, as I said, I came up with Rita Stone, and she would hit you very, very fucking hard. So I would also try to hit her but she's unfazed. I would rip one in and she'd just be whatever and throw it back up the storm. 16-0, let's trot, baby.
So where did you originally grow up from? You said earlier that you moved to Newcastle to go do wrestling training and do uni on the side. But where did you grow up from?
I was born and raised in Cobar, which is about 7.5 hours west of Newcastle. So if you think Dubbo, have you ever heard of Dubbo?
Yeah.
Keep going west. You been to Dubbo? Keep going 3.5 hours west. Jeez. And that's where I grew up. It's while out there. And then I moved to Parks in my high school years, which is a little closer to just right next to Dubbo, essentially.
Isn't
No,
Parks in
that's also
Queensland?
New South. There might be a Parks in Queensland, but
I
there's
don't know. It's
Parks
like
in New
on the
South
border.
Wales. No. No, Scott Green. Scott Green is from Nimbin, which is close to the border. And then moved here for uni. But you wouldn't believe it. I look very coastal now, but I grew up a country boy.
When did your family and your parents first hear that? You said you kept the kayfabe from them when you went down there, but when did you tell them you're like, hey, this is what I'm doing? I'm going to uni, I'm studying, but I'm also wrestling.
When my Instagram account got created and they found it. I never told them. They just found the Instagram account, and I thought they were going to hate it, but my mum's like my biggest fan now. So thanks, Mum.
Was the first reaction like, this is awesome, why don't you tell us? Or was it like, what the fuck are you doing down?
It was more like, why didn't you tell us? Which now I look back on, I don't even really know why I didn't tell them. It was pretty stupid. But the biggest difference is so before someone comes and sees me wrestle, it's kind of, how's the wrestling going? Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, good, man. It's really good. And then after they watch me wrestle, it's more so like, man, how's the wrestling going? Instead of that giggle, like more of a joke. Yeah. How's it going versus how's the wrestling? Because you come to one show and you get it, and you get that it's actually like a thing. So everyone in my family is just about seeing it, except for my biggest fan, my mum. So I still need to get her to get to a show, and then that's just about everyone ticked off. And my little sister and my brother.
Geez, we need to get the Greens down for a session at Newey.
Oh, it's the dream. It's the dream. Might get them down for a city hall or something. They were watching the Rumble at home popping, apparently.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, man. But for you, wrestling at Newey, wrestling at IWA, where do you want to take wrestling for yourself? Where do you see yourself going with wrestling?
So as I said earlier, I quit wrestling because I wasn't enjoying it. And when I decided to come back, I said I was going to just do it because I enjoy it. And now that's slowly turning into no, I want to do this and do as much for the Australian wrestling scene as I can. Because in 10 years, when they talk about the blow up of the Australian wrestling scene, as they no doubt will, I would love for Scott Green's name just to be floating in there. I want to work so many people around. I want to do everything else that every other wrestler wants to do. I want to win belts. I want to more over than everything. I want to be that name that you can always put on a card that will draw people and people are happy to work with. I want to be respected in the Australian wrestling scene. I want to be one of those names. I don't care if I don't get signed, to be honest. That's not my goal. I don't if a contract is put in front of me tomorrow, I'll sign it, but that's not my ultimate goal. I couldn't give a shit about. I couldn't give a shit about that. I want to do what I enjoy, and what I enjoy is, kind of what I'm doing now, going out, putting out quality shows, and proving people right that I can do these things. Carter Deems is. I put him over the other day in an Instagram post. Carter Deems and Head the Chief Rig. Those two boys have put so much faith in me in my short wrestling career, and hopefully every time they have, it's paid off. And I want to keep doing that. I want to keep being a good professional wrestler.
Dude, I think that's pretty achievable goals, man. And like I said, I've been enjoying your work, man, and I'm really looking forward to coming down to Newey and checking out you live, man, as well as the rest of the crew down there. Because, as I said, dude, I've watched the last City Hall show, man, and all that stuff has G'd me up and going, I need to get down to Newcastle for a night. Surely I can get away with it. So
September 20th, Gateshead. Tickets are on sale now at the website that's in the Newy Pro Instagram. Go get them. Pretty sure I'm wrestling, maybe.
Go down, guys. Get your tickets. Go check out Newy Pro. But, man, before we start wrapping up, it is that time of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, 60 seconds with Piers, the part we all came here for besides the interview with Mr. Scott Green. But how this is going to work, if you're new to the show, we're going to start the clock. Mr. Green has 60 seconds to answer as many questions as I can fucking throw at him. In that time, Scott, are you ready to get this going?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Okay. What was the shittest gift you ever received?
A thimble.
If you could only eat one type of meal for a week, what would it be?
Pepperoni pizza.
Plain fairy bread or fairy bread with Nutella?
Plain.
What is the best gift you ever received?
Oh shit. I don't know. Looking around my room. I'm gonna say like my PS3.
What is your karaoke go-to song?
Shut Up and Dance With Me by Walk on the Moon.
If you could delete one item from the world, what would it be?
Cell phones.
What game show would you be great at?
The Chase.
Snapchat or TikTok?
Snapchat. Don't have TikTok. Flex.
In 5 minutes, you are being shipped to outer space. What two personal belongings do you take with you, excluding human beings?
My bong and my weed, baby.
Yeah. That's it, baby. Let's give a round of applause up loud for that one.
Yay.
Yeah, dude. You know what, man? Like, this has been like almost an hour, and honestly, I feel like we just hit the go live button. Go. Like, dude, like this is why I love these conversations where they just sort of flow and you lose track of time. Dude, you want to do this again sometime?
Absolutely. Let's do it. This has been fun.
Dude. Absolutely, man. Well, look, where can everyone find you on social media, and where can they get some Scott Green merch?
Social media. Instagram would be the best place to reach me. If you have anything for me, it's scott.green__. I believe my Twitter is Scott Green Pro. As for merch, keep an eye on my Instagram page. I've got some stuff cooking up. I don't want to get anyone too excited, but there's some stuff in the woodworks. The best place to get merch from me will be at the next show. I should have everything sorted by then. And come say hi when you buy merch too. I'd like to say hi to fans and talk to them. So come say hello, buy a shirt. I'll have some other stuff cooking up, maybe some chips. And come get a photo and stuff too. I like meeting fans. It's fun.
There you go, guys. Go and hang out with Scott Green at the show. If you're going to offer him a blaze up, make sure it's after Ring Crew, just so he can get his work done. But I think, man, look, we'll see you, man. Thank you again for being on the show, man. It's been an awesome conversation. Guys, please go and check out our sponsor over at sleeps.com. Go and check out, get your athletic wear from there. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount. We thank them for sponsoring this episode. And guys, like always, like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Stay tuned because next week I'm going to be dropping, I think, 5 or 6 episodes of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. It's going to be a busy fucking week. But guys, stay tuned. Take care. All the best. Peace.